Bonjour, twombonu. Intellectual hardliner, bonehead, pea brain, sheep brain, YouTube small fry atheist here to rebut your video. Just a little. I wanted to start off getting all the ad homs out of the way because I don't think that that's helpful for the conversation. But and I also wanted to say that I did check out your channel, and I saw that a lot of your. The point is, I think you and I would get along in real life. You are into, it looks like RC drones and stuff, and I don't own a drone, but I like to fly helicopters, RC helicopters. So I think we would get along. We're probably not that different, but I am one of those bonehead intellectual atheist, or at least I'd like to think I am. You said so much in your video that I think is important to address, but I think most of it actually stems from a misunderstanding on your part of what atheism is. Atheism is not, as you describe it, people who are running around being anti-theists, which is what you are saying when you're saying atheists. You are talking about anti-theists. An atheist is someone who simply rejects the propositions that we have heard about God. We don't believe that there are gods. Now, I think you'd agree with me when, if I was to say that people don't choose their beliefs. They either accept a proposition or they don't, right? We can't snap our fingers and just believe it. You also made the point that it's frustrating to you to watch people run around and talk about things with confidence when they don't know what they're talking about. And with all due respect, my friend, I don't think you know what you're talking about. I think that you believe certain things, but if we were to sit down and I was to ask you why, we would find out that the reason why your epistemology is pretty bad. The reason that you believe things is not based on evidence. It is based on, I don't know what, I'd have to ask you. But you said, I actually liked the analogy. You said, you cannot experience God by listening to some professor, some dirty, grubby professor who's writing on a chalkboard somewhere. And you said that it's like having your tooth pulled. It's very painful, but you couldn't understand that by looking at the data on the chalkboard. You'd have to really experience it. Okay. I think this is great. And I agree with you. I think you have to experience it, and you have to ask yourself, was that real? Now, when you go to the dentist and get your tooth pulled, it does hurt, but there is a dentist, and there is afterwards a tooth in your hand, and there is the cotton in a hole in your jaw, and there is the blood that you spit out in the sink. And then, of course, months later, there's the bill, or perhaps that day there's the bill. And this is what I'm talking about, evidence. Personal experience, the pain, if the pain is the personal experience that helps you to know that there is a God and there is no other evidence, I think you're probably a pretty smart guy. I think if you thought about it, you would say, well, right, so I did experience the pain, but there's no dentist, there's no blood, there's no tools, there's no bill, there's none of that stuff. What did I experience? And so this railing you're doing against atheism, against anti-theists, I understand it. It feels bad when people don't agree with deeply held core beliefs of yours. I totally get that. I don't like it when I find out someone really appreciates what Mother Teresa did, for example. That tells me that they don't know anything about what Mother Teresa did. Maybe they read Mother Teresa's book and went, wow, what a great person. Now, Mother Teresa may have, in fact, been a great person. I've heard many interviews with the kids that grew up around her in Calcutta, and they all say wonderful things about her, that she was very sweet and warm, and they made her feel, she made them feel like the center of the universe, and that's very valuable. That's very noble. That is a quality that makes somebody great. But the problem is religion. Christopher Hitchens said, you can get anybody. I'm going to paraphrase this badly, but Christopher Hitchens said you can get anybody to do, something nice, but to get them to do something truly evil, that takes religion. And Mother Teresa is the case in point, and I'll tell you why. If she was, and I believe she was, the beautiful, wonderful, illuminated person that she was, it took religion for her to allow the suffering of all of those people that she helped in her hospice, in her hospital, if you call it that. Now, why am I saying that? Well, I encourage you to go either read Missionary Position by Christopher Hitchens, or just type that into YouTube. You'll come up with a great little documentary on the subject. But here's the upshot. The upshot is Mother Teresa believed in suffering. She believed that if you were about to die, the greatest thing you could do is suffer like Christ before you died. That, to me, is extremely disturbing, and that takes religion to do. Because we're not talking about, Mother Teresa didn't live in the 1600s. She's lived in modern time. We had anesthesia. We had phenobarbital. We have great drugs, right? But what Mother Teresa would do is nothing. She would just hang up a sign that said, today I might die and tomorrow I will be in heaven. And she gave these people some food to eat and a cot to die on. And that's better than a cold, damp gutter. I will give you that. But it is not, that's not helping. That's not good. That's not what they deserved. And what's worse is that many of the people that she helped were not necessarily terminal cases. There's one case that I know of where it was a young teenage boy, maybe 12, 13 years old, had a relatively common and fairly easily treatable kidney problem. And if she would have given him cab fare to a hospital, he would have lived. But it's better to suffer like Jesus. Without medication. We don't do that to our animals. This is why religion is bad. Now, if there is a God, any God, Christian God, if Allah's God, if Vishnu is the right God, I'm open to that. I need evidence of it, though. And I think we can tell. I think it is clear. And by the way, not only am I an atheist, I'm an anti-theist. I'm an anti-theist because of Mother Teresa. Things like that. Did monks brew beer? Yes. Was that good for humanity? Yes. Did monks maintain libraries throughout the Middle Ages? Yes. Name one medicine. Your argument was that they kept the knowledge from the Roman Empire. Name one medicine that we have now that we had from then. This is not how science works. This is not how things work. You railed against science. I thought that was so. I thought that was crazy. You recorded your video on a video camera and uploaded it to a website. The video camera, the internet, the screen, every bit of what you did, including drinking that chocolate milk, was due to technology. The reason your milk wasn't moldy is because we have air conditioning. That technology comes from scientific thinking. You poo-pooed science and said God is great, yet you reap the benefits of this science and this technology all day, every day. Long story short, I get it. I understand why you would be upset if you turn on Richard Dawkins and he's calling God a pestilential, megalomaniacal, filicidal. No, not filicidal. He didn't say that. Anyway, I get that would be frustrating to hear because you feel like you have this relationship. But I encourage you maybe to talk with me. I would love to do a Google Hangout or something like that where I can come to understand how you know these things that you know. But I would ask in doing so that you are open to being wrong, because I'm open to being wrong, and I can identify what it would take for me to say that I'm wrong. And that's a little bit of evidence. But I wonder if you are that open. Are you able to identify the things that would affirm your beliefs or disconfirm your beliefs? And I wonder, are you? Just checking my notes real quick. That's all I got. So, thank you, friend. Have a good day.